After nearly a month off from Premiership duty, the Chiefs welcome back their big guns for this fixture. Hayden Thomas and Ignacio Mires form a familiar half-back pairing. And in the pack, Tommy Johnson is back at 6, and Tommy Hayes takes over the captaincy at lock. The Tigers also see the return of some key personnel, with Toby Flood lining up at 10, and Manu Tuolangi starts his first game since pulling his hamstring in December. So, it's Mires, the Exeter fly half, to get us underway here at Sandy Park. It's a split kick-off, he goes long to the right. It's fielded by Anthony Allen. Sam Harrison playing at scrum half in the absence of Ben Youngs, organising his forwards. And now we see this all too familiar structure from the box kicks. The kick has gone long. Hayden Thomas with the pass, but the Tigers' defence is up quickly. It's Tommy Johnson to Dolman. And Sturgis on the charge down the right. Johnson again, so well known for his carrying. Referee has deemed the ball to go backwards, but Leicester seem to have turned it over. And it's Jordan Murphy at scrum half. Allen again cleaning up the scraps. And Flood decides to play the game in Exeter's half. Phil Dolman, the Exeter fullback, goes high. Chased by the fly half Mires, but it's Leicester in attack. They've gone wide with Waldrum to Aguja. Just managed to stay in field. Back to Flood. Steve Maffey carrying. Good line speed from Exeter. And Anthony Allen's knocked the ball on, to the delight of the home fans. Line speed there, Neil Clark at the front of that arrowhead. Uncharacteristic error that from Allen. An unfamiliar looking backline for Leicester in the midst of the Six Nations, with the likes of Manu Tuolangi and Toby Flood lining up for them. They're depleted of not as many as they usually are, Leicester, but still Dan Cole, Castro Giovanni, Tom Croft, Ben Youngs, all away of course with England and Italy respectively. Exeter with no such problems, picking from a full strength squad, and this starting 15 has a very familiar look to it. This fixture, fiercely contested last season, decided by the excellence of the Tuolangi brothers, each with a try, which really was the difference that day. But Exeter will feel, having won at Welford Road at the beginning of the season and taking the scalp of the Tigers for the first time, very confident about repeating that today against the depleted Leicester team. Julian White there at tie head for Leicester, part-time rugby player, full-time farmer these days, but called into action, of course, because of the absence of Cole and Castro Giovanni. Still a formidable scrummager. It's Thomas, short ball to Schumark, across the gain line, quick ball as usual. Johnson again, third carry already of the game. Thomas coming back to the left. Sturgis almost away from that half tackle. Thomas has a little snipe. Oh, and again, it's good work at the breakdown from Leicester, coming up with the turnover and the penalty. Sean Davey clearly seeing that one. And it's Anthony Allen atoning for his earlier error, coming up with that penalty. Great work from the inside centre, formerly of Gloucester. Now making a real name for himself as a regular in this Leicester starting lineup. So there's the stocky figure of George Shooter. That hooker for the Tigers, such an experienced campaigner. Gone to the back to Slater. It's a peel off the back. Maffey into the midfield. Great carry from Maffey. Harrison to Skivington this time. Coming back to the right is Flood. And Davey being advised by his touch judge, a forward pass. The advantage is played. And Skaysbrook decides to put boot to ball. That's a pretty good kick from the open side flanker. Tuolangi goes back. Alex Tuolangi goes back. And Anthony Allen looks to clear. And that's a pretty good effort from the centre again. See it again, Flood coming back. Trying to find one of the Tuolangi brothers, both on those inside lines, so dangerous. But on that occasion, the pass drifted forward. It's Mires. The double switch, but Salvi has read that one well. Dumping Sestare backwards, and I think Leicester have come up with a turnover. They have. It's Flood that buries his head in there to try and get the ball out. Not always easy. Manu to Alex Tuolangi. He beats 1 and 2 tackles. So hard to bring down. Taken on, Shooter. Super blind pass. Alex Tuolangi out the back to Manu. Doesn't go to hand. So close to the first score. And here go Exeter from deep. Oh, super tackle. Schumacher trying to put it onto his left foot. And it was Aguja smashing the Kiwi centre into touch. Not really much on for him here. And a well-timed tackle from Aguja. Julian White at the back, but Exeter done a pretty good job of sacking that drive. So Slater carries it. 10 metres in from touch. Harrison to Flood. They're going wide. Jordan Murphy has got to be on in the corner for Tuolangi. He's through one. He's in the corner. Has he scored? The referee's given it. Clinical finishing from the Leicester Tigers. Off of the line out. Harrison with the blocker ball through a Yurtsa. Flood with the wide ball. And it was Matt Jess caught totally out of position. And Dolman with the impossible task of stopping Tuolangi from that distance. He couldn't do it. And again, these Tuolangi brothers coming back to haunt the Exeter Chiefs. Flood desperate to get back in the England setup, having seen Owen Farrell kicked so well again in Rome this weekend. Can he add the extras from the left-hand touchline? No, he can't. But Leicester start with a bang here at Sandy Park. Alex Tuolangi going over in the corner, and the Tigers lead 5-0. Always such an important part of any away team strategy is to quieten down the home crowd early on, take away that advantage. And already the Exeter faithful have dimmed their response. Desperate for the home team to give them something to cheer about. And it's Anthony Allen again, jinking past the first defender. And Harrison once again organising his forwards. Ayerza building that bridge to just give Harrison a few more yards between himself and the opposition, so he can clear the ball to touch, but he hasn't found touch, and Camacho goes off on a mazy run. Has such an ability to beat defenders with his footwork. Super quick hands that from Exeter down the right touchline. They haven't made much ground though. Tui. Oh, it's a big hit. Tuolangi stepping in on Moldoni. Thomas goes back to the right. Oh. And again, Aguja with the tackle into touch. And it's a big job this afternoon for Sesteret and Schumacher in the centre for Exeter to contend with Anthony Allen and Manu Tuolangi. A really, really strong Premiership combination this, offering all different types of problems. Again, Harrison building that wall. The box kick goes up. It's a good one. Baxter's underneath it though, takes it well. Salvi almost got his hands on that for Leicester. Mirez with the step, half break. He's up to the halfway line. Skaysbrook this time. And Baxter. Always a huge part of Exeter's play, their ability to retain possession for multiple phases. But Leicester defence is pretty strong early on, forcing Exeter to kick. Tuolangi hesitated a little bit, making Murphy kick off his left foot. Wasn't the greatest kick. And now Exeter have a position about 40 metres out from the Leicester line to launch another attack from line-out time. Very cold evening here in Exeter. The fans just singing to keep warm, I think, for the most part. Chiefs opt for a full line-out. And it's Muldooney at the front to Thomas. Long ball to Mirez. It's gone long. And Jess almost got away. But again, Exeter guilty of holding onto the ball. Leicester's work at the breakdown is certainly winning the day so far. Jess caught in the jaw, I think, by Manu Tuolangi with an inside arm. You can clearly see the Exeter players lying on the ball. And I think Jess has been hurt by that glancing blow to the jaw. Like to see that again, whether there was any intention in it. because that could have, of course, if it does, have serious ramifications for Tuolangi. He's not in a good way, Jess. The highlights not picking it up quite in that shot, but again it's Anthony Allen over the top of the ball, winning the penalty for his team. Great work. Hope he's all right, Jess. Be a big blow for Exeter to lose him this early. You can clearly see he's clutching his jaw before he's even gone to ground. But he's okay, he's back on his feet. It's good to see. Anyway, Leicester just outside Exeter's 22, launching again through Slater. Penalised Leicester for leaving the line out. Sean Davies says it's the little pod at the back. We see those two men leaving early.
Just left the line out early. Get forward for Exeter.
And Mirez with the chance to relieve the pressure. And that's a good kick from the Argentinian back into the Leicester territory. Exeter taking their time with this setup. Again stolen by Leicester. Really working themselves at set piece at the moment, Leicester. And Harrison has to dig it out. Floods really deep, all the way deep back in the 22. But he goes long, has to. Here goes Jess, a minute ago, was injured. He seems fine now. Salvi's on the ball. Skaysbrook, quick hands to Mirez. Schumark. Camacho overruns it. And Skaysbrook again takes it on. Allen with the tackle again. He's got through so much work early on. Forward pass, called by the touch judge. I thought so. And it's good to see the officials working in tandem there for a positive effect. And a bit of an unforced error from Exeter. Although they hang on to the ball so well, sometimes guilty of playing too much rugby in their own half. And on that occasion, a simple error leads to a super attacking position for Leicester. Left-hand scrum. Hayden Thomas, the scrum half, defending the short side. Julian White being penalised on the tight head for Leicester. Brett Sturgis, that's two scrums in a row that Sturgis has got the better of Julian White. And of course missing their two world-class tight head props, Leicester, this evening. And they'll hope that doesn't become too much of an issue throughout this game. Usually such a strength for them, the scrum. Mirez barking the orders to his captain, Tommy Hayes. Telling his captain what he wants from this line out, whether he wants it off the top or wants the forwards to drive it on. You expect Exeter from this position to consolidate and drive. Oh, but it's stolen again. Having a torrid time at line-outs, Exeter. And it's almost like deja vu. Harrison building and box kicking on that left-hand side. Camacho now with some time. Well, he's round to Alangi. He runs into Maffey. Mirez going back inside. It's a good tackle from Skivington. Back to that short side, really favouring that right-hand short side this evening, Exeter. It's Baxter, the number 8. Some good yards in the middle after the break from Thomas. It's Mirez, left-footed chip through. Jordan Murphy's gone down on it and secured it. Plenty of numbers there for Leicester. And Allen drops back in the pocket for the option for Harrison. But I expect he'll kick himself from here. And he goes to the safety of touch. And that's not a bad option for Leicester, the way they're carving up Exeter's line out at the moment. Nice little touch that from Mirez. But Murphy was equal to it. And it's surely time that Exeter cut the numbers in the line out to try and win some ball. Call coming in from Prop Sturgis. They've kept the full line out, 7-man. This time they do win it. Get the drive on. Clark's got it at the back. And he breaks off. But without really making too many yards. Tui with the carry. Muldowney now. He's a big man, Muldowney, hard to stop. Clark again. Baxter. Tui playing scrum half. Throws an audacious dummy. No one buys it, of course. Tuolangi rushing out of the line, putting a big hit on Schumark, giving him nowhere to run. Solid defence this from Leicester, really. And there's the error. Can Leicester make the most of it? They need to get it away quickly. They do. But that's good defence from Exeter from a turnover. Such a threatening time for any team. Flood this time going long downfield. But Exeter have 3 men back. Mirez is the man in possession. He goes high. Jordan Murphy, so reliable under those high balls.
Stay down, players. Okay.
Leicester quite happy to slow it down and organise. But Ed Slater found himself in the first receiver role. I think it was a bit of a surprise to him. Harrison round the corner. He's found a little bit of a space there. Shooter goes into scrum half. Ayertza, his front row partner, carries it on to Alangi now. Dive pass from scrum half. Flood goes high, but it's too long. Skaysbrook underneath it this time. Looks like he's almost running with a limp. He's so strapped up. But again, Leicester at the breakdown, so competitive. Skaysbrook screaming at the ref, but it's not going to make any difference. In fact, it's only a scrum. But again, a turnover at the breakdown. There was the initial error. Skivington with the line speed on Muldowney.
situations, holding on. Was that ball come, please?
In fact, it was a penalty. Sean Davey changing his arm, making his mind up at last. And Flood opting to go down the touchline. Deep, deep into Exeter territory. And expect to see one of those two Alangi brothers appear in the midfield.
6 man.
Most probably down Mirez's channel.
6. Are you half back? Yeah. Okay. Transferred.
It's a shift drive from Leicester, but it's brought down again well by Exeter. But of course, Leicester having no problems winning their own ball at line-out time, unlike Exeter. It's Slater with the carry.
And go free. First man.
Some good work there from
From here.
Julian White going in with his boot.
Come here.
Sean Davey saw that,
Come off there.
and he could be in trouble, the veteran prop.
Free. To me. He was rolling out, was a backward motion, but it's reckless. Okay, it's going to be a penalty. On the.
Oh, very close to the face.
Can we go?
And I think Julian White's dodged a bullet there, only being penalised. He could have spent 10 minutes in the cooler, or even worse. Had his evening cut short right there. But relief. Ill discipline from Leicester leads to relief for Exeter. And Mirez with the chance. And that's a super kick from Mirez from deep in his own 22. He's made it all the way up to the Exeter, to the Leicester half. Over 60 yards on that kick. What a wonderful kick from Mirez. But now Exeter have the problem of winning the line out. To the front again, Muldowney, but he drops the ball. Oh, it's well picked up by Julian White, atoning us slightly for that error. And Flood goes cross-field. And Leicester again, heavy pressure at the breakdown. And Leicester have come up with a turnover once again. They really have got the measure of Exeter at the breakdown. Their backs doing so much good work. Anthony Allen involved heavily again. But a super kick from Flood crossfield on that occasion. But unlike the line-out, where Leicester have so much dominance, the scrum, well, that's Exeter's domain early on. And a big challenge this side for Julian White to hold off the pressure of Brett Sturgis. Well, that time Exeter being penalised for purposefully rotating the scrum round through 90, and Toby Flood gave a glance at the posts but didn't fancy it from that angle, so he's decided instead to go to the corner. Will Leicester attempt the drive again? They failed on 2 or 3 occasions. Exeter defending pretty well. Perhaps Flood will go off the top this time. We'll wait and see. Don't expect Exeter really to compete at this line out. But they do. It's won by Slater again. It's off the top indeed. And it's Aguja through the middle. Big hole opened up for the winger there. And Harrison again to the short side. Harrison again. He's got Waldrum. A little bit of footwork, but he's well tackled by Muldowney. Again, Flood jinking through. He didn't really have anywhere to go there, but he did quite well. Salvi onto Yerza, the Argentine. Skivington coming back to the left. Flood. Big pressure that from Baxter. But again, Flood did well to get away. And they've got the penalty, Leicester, underneath the posts. And no doubt Flood will have a pop from here to extend this Leicester lead.
Captain Quigger, please let it happen. Thank you. Kicking tees on. Tees on, going posts.
I think it was Hayes, the captain, on the floor, not rolling away from the position. You could see Davey tapping him on the leg, naming and shaming. And Flood with the simplest of chances to extend this Leicester lead. No more than 18 yards in front of the posts.
I thought it was your 3-1 before that, so I'm just trying to get it.
Right-footed. Flood. Makes no mistake, the flags go up. And Toby Flood has taken the Tigers into a 2-score, 8-point lead. And time for the home team to respond with something. You can hear the crowd getting a little bit agitated now. No points early on for Exeter. And Leicester really being certainly the most dominant force. Exeter with a fair share of possession, but not really doing much with it so far. Mirez goes long again. We've seen this kick-off. Anthony Allen again takes it, uses footwork, beats the first man. It's like deja vu. But this time, it's Leicester that are penalised for holding on. Anthony Allen penalised. Tui, the prop, over the top of Allen, putting pressure on. And that's exactly what the home crowd wanted. Exeter signalling for post, and Mirez will have his first opportunity to get Exeter on the board this evening. Crowd goes silent for Mirez. He too right-footed. Yeah, and it's simple for the Argentinian. He slots the goal, gives Neil Clark a low 5, and Exeter are on the board and into this game. It's Exeter 3, the Tigers 8. Back to within one score are the Chiefs. Flood for the first time this evening kicking off to Richard Baxter, brother of coach Rob. You couldn't tell them apart. Mirez going long. He's found a bounce, but it's Waldrum carrying back. Made some good yards, Waldrum there. Flood to Tuolangi. First time we've seen him with ball in hand. It's an ugly pass, but he manages to get it away to his brother. Phil Dolman tidies up the mess. And Mirez again. Going down the line. This time Jordan Murphy's fielded it on the full. And puts a spiral kick across to the right. And if that rolls into touch, it does. That's a super kick from the fullback. On standby for the Six Nations squad for Ireland. And Tuolangi just showing signs of rustiness, having been out for a few months. Desperate to get a game under his belt and get back in the England reckoning. But we've not seen too much of him this evening. His brother, of course, over for the first score. but not a lot of that man Manu Tuolangi so far this evening. In it goes. It's backs to the target. Thomas with the box kick. And Aguja's underneath it to Murphy. And Murphy this time goes right down the middle. Poor kick straight to Mirez. Mirez again kicks ahead. Super kick from the fly half. It's putting Flood under a lot of pressure. Oh, he's done well though. And Tuolangi spilt it. Exeter are off. Super chance this for the Chiefs, if they can get quick ball. Tommy Hayes. Little bit indecisive from the captain, but he's held on to the ball. Thomas again, back to the right. Tui into midfield. Mirez, cross kick. Tuolangi and Camacho. But I think Tuolangi's done just enough to put Camacho into touch. Camacho's not happy about it. He's arguing with the touch judge. But I think the TJ has made a good call there. Fraction of a second before he put the ball down, his foot was in touch. But a super cross kick from Mirez to spot Tuolangi backtracking. And look at the height. Camacho gets on that. It's a big, big call from the touch judge. Oh, it's so close. I'd like to see a better angle on that one. Tuolangi leaves the field with a blood injury to his face. Oh, clash of heads. Tommy Johnson, that looked really bad. Slater with the take, under huge pressure from the Chiefs. Really rallying in the last few minutes, the Chiefs. And super pressure from Hayden Thomas. Comes up with the error. And the Chiefs have got a scrum 5 metres out. And with the way their scrum's going at the moment, this is the best position Exeter have had all game. Really tough spot to defend from. It's Matt Smith that's come on for Tuolangi on the left wing there, just behind the scrum you see him. Thomas just making sure of the call with Mirez. But with the way this scrum's been going, I think Exeter will be fancying the chance of a pushover try here. Here we go again, Exeter. It's picked up at the back. Salvi's over the top, he can't get it. Exeter have the penalty. The way their scrums go in, I wouldn't be surprised if they opt for another one. But instead, Mires has opted for goal. The way he's kicking, you wouldn't bet against him narrowing this deficit. Tiny little tee that used by Mires. Some of these kickers these days using a tee 3 or 4 inches big to get massive loft, but Mires opting for just a little bit of help in keeping the ball upright. Similar position to his first. Oh, and he's pulled it across the front. And that's a poor miss, really, from Exeter and from Mires. He's not happy with himself. The crowd go quiet. They show the reaction. And Leicester really have got away with conceding what should have been an easy 3 points, really, for Exeter. Will they come to rue that opportunity later on in the game? Toby Flood goes long. Just over the halfway, Dolman plays it to Mires, he offloads Sturgis. Johnson puts his head down in that red scrum cap. Thomas looks for the break, he goes again. Far more an attacking threat these days, Hayden Thomas.
7 Gray offside, 7 Gray.
But there's another penalty coming for Leicester, for Exeter, sorry. It's Salvi that's been singled out. And a perfect opportunity for Mires to atone for that miss only seconds earlier.
What colour did you say there? Grey. No, just say, oh, yeah, okay. I can pick that up. Just say Leicester from now on, thanks.
Sean Davey there taking exception to what colour the touch judge referred to Leicester as. Wasn't happy with grey, prefers Leicester, and why not? That's a little bit of a concern. Dolman getting a little bit of ice on a knock. Mires will be keen to not miss 2 in a row, that's for sure. Certainly an easier angle for a right footer, just to the left of the posts. And this time it's good from Mires. And he's cut the deficit just in half time. Perfect timing that for Exeter. They go in at the break, down by 6 points to 8. Well, it's Flood to get us underway for the second half of this match, with the Tigers leading 8-6 at the break. Camacho for the Chiefs. Running it up, Mires back into his 22. It's Murphy underneath it for Leicester. He moves it on to Waldrom. Comes into midfield. It's tackled well by Sturgis. James Grindle on for Sam Harrison at scrum half. And Matt Smith is also on as a permanent replacement now for Alex Tuolangi. So a couple of changes in the Tigers' backline early on. And although the substitution of Grindle for Harrison might be tactical, certainly losing to Alangi will be purely down to injury after he got that blow to the cheek. Exeter with the line-out win. Mirez on the switch. It was Jess taking it up. Baxter now to Mirez. Sesteret with the carry. Good tackling. Shooter, Azierza and White, the whole Leicester front row, attempting to hold Exeter up. And it's stolen by Waldrum.
Guys, coming back. Scrum here.
And Leicester have got away with a turnover. Waldrum desperate to get the ball away. If he would have, it would have spelt huge trouble for Exeter. But Tommy Johnson did well to scupper that potential counter-attack and instead only concede a scrum. Very experienced man, James Grindle at scrum half, former Newcastle Falcons scrum half. Found himself way down the pecking order though this season, behind Mickey Youngs, Ben Youngs, and now Sam Harrison into fourth choice. But he's still got a huge job to do to help Leicester try and get a win away from home and continue this momentum in the Premiership that's seen them rocket up into the top four from before the World Cup, where they were sitting second from bottom in the league. And they're winning this game at the moment 8 points to 6. But again, messy scrum. James Grindle not happy to put the ball into that scrum as it's moving. And Sean Davey moving the scrum across a few yards, having had the ground churned up by that previous scrum.
Square off. No head on head. Crouch. Touch. Pause.
Cleaner in that time.
Use it. Use it.
And Hayden Thomas again doing a great job at the base of that scrum, coming up with another turnover. I think he might have used a little right foot there illegally. You see here, kicking in. But the referee didn't pick it up. And again, big turnover that for Exeter. Thomas Waldrum not used to picking up from a retreating scrum in Leicester colours. A new phenomenon for him, and you can see that it's proving difficult to get the ball out. The scrum in all sorts of problems at the moment for Leicester. And with Boris Stankovic, a late withdrawal from the bench for Leicester. They don't have a lot of experience. Ryan Bauer and Lagovi Mulipola, two young props on the bench. Richard Cockerell won't want to be putting them on if he can help it. Oh, and again another turnover. This time it's Thomas with the drop ball. And we go back to a Leicester put-in. And I think the referee, like the crowd, are desperate to get away from this position. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a penalty or free kick awarded. Simply just to get away from 5 minutes of non-stop scrummaging.
Stay on 9.
Which way is it going to go this time? It's a penalty. Hayden Thomas offside that time.
Go back. Offside.
And as predicted, referee Davey losing his patience with too many scrums, and Flood going to the corner, makes no mistake, a solid kick into the 22. And the crowd aren't happy. Super ball off the top, Grindle to Flood. Tuolangi up the middle. Devastating run from Tuolangi. His first real impact on this game. And Flood with a little chip through. There's too much on it. And a promising attack from Leicester. All set up from that strong run from Tuolangi, comes to nothing. And Exeter will be very happy to see that ball put on Flood's boot.
Just a heads up that we had 7 and 3. 3 for Leicester, 7 for Exeter. Getting involved with each other after the ball's gone. No foul play, but they're now involved with each other.
7 and 3.
Yes, sir.
7 from Colour.
7 from Exeter, 3 from Leicester.
Oh, flat kick that from Mirez. Aguja goes direct, but he's well tackled. Julian White does really well for his teammate there, rolling out of that pressure situation. And the referees let that go. Baxter with the turnover. And very scrappy at the moment.
Legal, came through, picked the ball up. Came through, picked the ball up. Finding this side. Come on, lads, forward.
And it's just a bit of a mess there.
There's the mark on you, your ball.
The lesser of the two evils is to give the scrum to Exeter. And let's hope this ball comes away with minimal fuss.
Touch, pause, engage.
Oh, and Leicester have turned another scrum over. Flood
Stop.
puts it on the boot,
Okay.
deep into the Exeter half.
Right, guys, come out.
Matt Jess with the kick straight down Flood's throat. Waldrum puts some width on it. It's Murphy switching it up to Alangi again, coming more and more into the game in the last few minutes. And again Leicester with a penalty. A poor kick from Jess
You went off your feet,
led to a
the ball.
really strong counter-attack from Leicester. Tuolangi switching the ball with Murphy. And immediately a penalty for Leicester. And will Toby Flood? He will. He'll have a pop-it goal from there, about 45, 48 yards on the angle. Certainly within his range. Not much wind here at Sandy Park. And the first opportunity for points of this second half go to Leicester.
Go to the far side, yeah.
They were first to score in the first half. Alex Tuolangi going over after only 8 minutes. In the corner, Flood. Chance to slot his second penalty of the evening. Yeah, it's a nice strike. But it's short. Surprisingly short from Flood. And that's a super clearance kick. And Flood goes quickly. Waldrum is direct.
Don't go in. Guards.
And this time, Tommy Johnson penalised. Late tackle on Toby Flood.
Okay, we're on the wrong side of that tackle, okay? Right, you're just on the wrong side of that edge. Distraction late. Okay, go back.
Sean Davey explaining well. to Johnson on the wrong side of late. It's marginal, but he's deemed it to be fractionally late, no intent. So no question of any sort of yellow cards, anything like that. But the huge problem for Exeter is that penalty will be where the ball landed. So Flood moves up another 20 yards and puts the ball right in the corner. And from nothing really, Leicester are able to build a very, very strong territorial position here. Great kick from Flood to within 8 yards of the Exeter try line. In the first half, we had 4 or 5 of these opportunities, all of them really leading to nothing. Can Leicester make more of it now in this second half? They've done the first bit, got the drive settled. Well, they need to get it going in field. They've got a penalty advantage. Exeter deemed to come round the corner, coming from offside positions. And Flood again will go into that corner. And they'll try again. And Exeter have got to watch out. They've given away a lot of penalties in the last 5 minutes. And it will just be playing on Sean Davies' mind about the discipline of this Exeter team. It's taken by Slater. Well spoilt by Exeter that time. Flood goes himself. He's taken by Skaysbrook. And Hayden Thomas again. And Hayden Thomas again, rolling the wrong side of the ruck. He's been penalised. The referee's absolutely right. A professional foul really from the Exeter scrum half, getting himself between the ball and the opposing scrum half, trying to slow the ball down. But referee Davey was wise to that, and Flood. Here we see it, Hayden Thomas there, number 9, and he stays in the way. It's cynical play, really. Simple opportunity for Flood to extend this lead then. And he gets it. Much to the displeasure of the home fans, but Leicester now lead 11-6. And now the referee is having serious words with Hayden Thomas and the Exeter team about their discipline. It's in his mind, that's for sure. Far too many penalties early on in this second half. And it's about time that the referee said something. So Mirez gets us underway again. Anthony Allen spills the ball. The advantage. Here come Exeter. Tommy Johnson with the kick. Not the best idea from the flanker. Really a lost opportunity, that. And Exeter have scored a try. Johnson it was with the charge down. And the crowd are going wild here at Sandy Park. From nothing, Tommy Johnson with the earlier kick for the turnover, but makes up for it with the charge down. Super work, and it's Richard Baxter that was quickest to the ball. He goes over in the corner. And Exeter are back in this game. 11 points apiece. With the kick to come. Super play from Exeter, great kick pressure. We've seen it from England. Charlie Hodgson scoring 2 weeks on the bounce with charge downs. And Tommy Johnson has created a try for his team. Has the opportunity to give Exeter the lead for the first time this evening. Wide out on the right. What a super kick. What a super kick from Mirez. And for the first time this evening, the Exeter Chiefs are in the lead. They lead the Leicester Tigers 13-11. 55 minutes on the clock. Can Leicester respond? The main characteristic of this Exeter team this year has been their fighting spirit, their never say die attitude, and they showed it there in abundance. But here come Leicester. Flood getting the ball away to Elangi. Here comes the pressure from Leicester. Maffey with the carry. To Flood. Skivington on the short ball. Good yards from him. Skaisbrook comes through the middle. Flood again. Oh, and it's Waldrum. Almost intercepted by Exeter. But Leicester survive. Flood goes to the line. And he spilt it. An error from Leicester. And respite for the Chiefs. Toby Flood there. I think the ball was knocked out of his hand by his teammate George Shooter as he tried to turn in the tackle. This scrum for Exeter been so dominant for most of the evening. Leicester have held their own there. Mirez kicks from right to left. Aguja's underneath it, he fields that well, going backwards. Finds Murphy, who goes high. And Waldrom's onto it. But again, another knock-on from Leicester. Oh, and the referee's made a mistake there. It didn't even touch a Leicester hand. And the Tigers will probably feel a little bit hard done by there. Waldrom was onto that loose ball. And Leicester are in a very good attacking position. And have Leicester come up with a turnover? They have. The scrum's an absolute mess. Here goes Flood. Oh, great pick-up from Tuolangi there. On the floor. Grindle to Maffey. He puts his head down and does the hard yards. Grindle again. Waldrum. But he's on his own. Where does Anthony Allen? He doesn't have anywhere to go. And Leicester just getting guilty of being a little bit stagnant at the moment. Need to get some go forward. Flood decides to put boot to ball, but it's a very poor kick from him. Camacho now just goes long as he can. And Flood is now fielding the ball 10 metres from his own try line, and he's turned an attacking position into a defensive one with two fairly average kicks for his standard.
Exeter 2, 5 and 3, please.
2, 5, 3. 2, 5, 3.
And the Chiefs now bringing on the replacements. Craig Mitchell, Chris Whitehead, into the front row, on for Neil Clark and Honai Tui. Well won at the front by the captain, Hayes, and Baxter's down the middle. And that's Whitehead with his first run. Strong, fresh-legged run from Whitehead. Thomas, now a penalty advantage for Exeter. And listen to the crowd loving this. And the Tigers just getting rattled.
Get on with the game. Number 10, 3 players offside.
Kicking tee is on, Sean. Kicking tee is on. Kicking tee.
Post. Marking there.
And unsurprisingly, Mires deciding to have another pop at goal. He's been on good form this evening. Slotting 2 penalties and a conversion. 3 from 4, running at 75% success this evening. And this is a huge kick. Stretch this lead out.
Two Leicester replacements after the kick, please.
To 5 points would really force Leicester into a really very much more an attacking way of playing. See what Mires can do with this. Oh, he's got it off the post and it's over. Well, Mires slotted the conversion of Baxter's try from the right touchline. He's now slotted a penalty from the left touchline. And even though it came off the post and only scraped over, they all count. Super kick from Mires.
Complete, yes, play.
Leicester kick off again. Tommy Johnson with the run. Murphy, what can he do? Puts it onto Waldrum. He's tackled. Oh, and Exeter have come up with a turnover. Thomas onto Whitehead. And Exeter have lost the opportunity for what could have been the killer blow in this game. Waldrum chanced his arm, flew out the line. That was enough to put Sturgis off and come up with the turnover. And Leicester need to act fast if they want to win this game and continue their quest for a top 2 finish in the league. For Exeter, European qualification will be their goal at this stage.
Stay 9.
Yeah, Gouja into the line, long ball. Matt Smith with the run, but it's really just lateral from Leicester. They've got to be more direct than this. Oh, and Exeter have come up with another turnover. It's Sturgis. Super from the prop. And Skaysbrook to Schumark. Schumark decides to take it in. Mirez chipping over the top. It's a nice kick. Grindle's back. And it's advantage to Exeter. They've got the penalty, they've got the turnover. And Exeter are just squeezing the life out of Leicester at the moment. Mirez dictating things at fly half. A lovely little kick over the top into space. Here's evidence of Leicester's sloppy play. Hawkins on it hooker with just a pass to nobody. And Baxter again. Number 8 after scoring the try. He's been absolutely everywhere. Coming up with big plays for his team. That's another potential 3-pointer from the number 8. And this really is a significant kick. If none of the others, of course, are significant, but if he were to get this and stretch the Exeter lead to 8 points, that would mean Leicester need to score twice. One of those being a try. And that's a big mountain to climb for any away team. Mirez from an easier angle than the one he slotted a few minutes ago. There it is, no doubt about it. Mirez slots the penalty, and the Chiefs lead their Tigers, having been down at half-time. They now lead 19 points to 11. Leicester again getting used to kicking off in this second half.
Go 5. 5 goals. 5 out. First time. Back in. Stop.
And again, Waldrum Fields to Murphy. Pushed across to Smith, to Alangi, but again the ball goes to Deck. Flood clears up. That's not what they want, their playmaker at the bottom of a ruck. Matt Smith has a go. Layertzer at first receiver. There's really only one way he's going. And now Exeter not committing anyone to the rucks, just holding off in defence. Smart from them. Leicester really struggling to make any sort of inroads. And the ball getting caught up with somebody's jersey, a Leicester jersey. Unplayable. It's Ed Slater's. I've never seen that before. And it's not really what Leicester wanted, another scrum at this stage. And Leicester, having started this game so positively, taking an 8-0 lead so early on, they've really stuttered and allowed Exeter to come back into this game. They've been sloppy, and Exeter have preyed on the errors of the Tigers, scoring a try through Richard Baxter when Tommy Johnson had charged Toby Flood down, and a handful of penalties from Ignacio Mires have stretched this lead to 8 points for the Chiefs. Another messy scrum. And great defence from Exeter. They're now the ones hammering into the rucks, putting pressure. Oh, and a penalty for Leicester. And more play involving that man, the smallest man on the pitch, Hayden Thomas, is involved in more off the ball.
Everything seems to be revolving around you. Put the ball down, okay? We're going 10. Right, 10.
Again, Sturgis penalised there, I think, for coming from an offside position.
Captain, I've lost patience with him. He's got to put the ball down. Okay. Right.
And Hayden Thomas, very, very lucky, really, to be still on the pitch. Sean Davey feeling a little bit generous, but Toby Flood, an important penalty to get Leicester back to within one score. And he's missed, he's gone off the post, but unlike Mires, it bounced the wrong side, and it's met with huge elation from the Sandy Park crowd. And Rob Baxter has taken the decision to get Hayden Thomas off the pitch and substitute him before he simbid. He's going to be replaced by Kevin Barrett. And another error from the Leicester Tigers, and it's going from bad to worse for them this evening.
Let's go. Okay. Take the hit, boys. Take the hit. Take the hit. That's good. Stay the other line from black, yes? You have it, right? You have it? Okay. Touch! Touch! Pause! Engage!
One of the few steady scrums of the evening. Barrett plays it out, Mires no interest in trying to play He's kicked the ball straight down Tuolangi's throat. And that tackle from Schumacher was a little high on Tuolangi.
Right, boys, stay.
Munipola on for Julian White. And again Tuolangi up the left.
Back.
Hawkins with the carry that time. Now Flood with some width to Murphy. Waldrum, Aguja. Good work from Aguja, but he's then tackled into touch. Super defence from the Chiefs. Again, they're pumped up. They've got an 8-point lead, but they don't want to surrender anything at the moment. And although Aguja made a few yards, he's crucially turned the ball over and given the Chiefs the line out. Not really what the rest of his team wanted to see from that position. But you've got to credit this Chiefs defence in the second half. They've stepped up their intensity and their line speed. They're forcing the Tigers into multiple errors.
Somebody seriously injured on the back, we think.
He's coming off.
Yeah, just do it, mate.
Send them on.
Well, I mean, he's going to be called off, yes?
Yeah, he's coming off.
Just do it.
Well, sad to see Brett Sturgis leaving the pitch with what looks like a possible broken arm. You can see him there swinging his lower arm into that tackle. It hit the head of the Leicester player, and that could spell, with the fact he's taking oxygen, could spell a long stint on the sidelines for what has been the first choice loosehead, outstanding player for Exeter this year. He'll be missed. And in the meantime, Exeter have got to hold on to this 8-point lead they've got over Leicester and see this game out. They've made an error from the kickoff, from the line out. And here comes Hawkins, and he's repelled. It's Slater with the carry. Anthony Allen. But really, Leicester have got possession, but they're not really going anywhere with it. Here goes Waldrum, straightening things up. Munipola, he's a strong ball carrier. Young prop. And here goes Maffey. Inside ball. They're getting closer, Leicester. Aguja plays scrum half. Flood. Oh, great hands from Murphy. Munipola again. Look at the strength of the prop. Super run from him. Waldrum plays 9. Oh, and Flood's knocked the ball on. Such a promising attack for Leicester. It's a poor pass from Waldrum, and Flood has fumbled it. And what could have been a position to get Leicester back into this game. And now time is really their worst enemy, the Tigers. Only a few minutes left on the clock now here at Sandy Park. Oh, and again, Salvi has been penalised. Drastic times call for drastic measures, and Salvi was trying to chance his arm by sneaking off the scrum a little bit early, but Sean Davey wasn't having any of it. And Mires has the opportunity to waste a couple more valuable seconds. Push the ball into the stand. And they crucially have to put into this line out.
Let's go. Time.
2 minutes left here at Sandy Park. Oh, but it's won by Leicester. Grindle fumbles it, but manages to keep possession. They've got to act fast here, Leicester. Waldrum chopped down at the knees. Slater. He's worked hard this evening, Slater, but unfortunately he's going to be on the losing team. Super tackle that from Sesteret at 13 on his opposite man, Tuolangi. Flood. Munipola again. Offload. But it's not gone to hand, and here come Exeter. Flooding through. Nothing silly here from Exeter. They've got the game won, they just need to hang on to the ball. There's Mires pushing it over the top. Good work from Aguja. Oh, and Jordan Murphy is pushed backwards, and the ball stolen. Skaysbrook's come away with it. Kevin Barrett, miracle. Barrett's gone left. And it's Cesare. Has he got in the corner? It's short. And that's the end of the game. Well, Leicester came into this game full of ambition, moving toward those top 2 places, but they've been stopped in their tracks by a defiant Exeter Chiefs side this evening. Back to full force after a month off from the Premiership. And there's no doubt about it, they were good value for their win. Far too many errors from the Tigers to come to Sandy Park and win. And for the first time in their history, Exeter can boast a double of wins over the former Premiership champions for this season.